Good evening and welcome to F1 in season 17 of Ero. F2, F3 were on last night. Oh, I've been watching pit entry exit. Anyway, we are here with 16 drivers on the grid this evening. F2, F3 was indeed last night. Quite chaotic F3 race, it must be said, especially upon review. And F2 was not as chaotic, but still. Good evening, Camille. Good evening, Lewis. Good evening, Zeman. And good afternoon, Mr. Carl Whiteside. Andrew Feschenko, I thought you weren't in the lobby. I got very sad. Anyway. Yes. Oh, hold on a second. Everyone can hear me. Sorry, guys. Let me make a party. That's better. My apologies for everyone in the lobby. They could probably hear that and we're thinking, but this guy shut the hell up. Anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, Charlie and Nelia, I think is now how you pronounce their name, has set a 1:15.5, so already 6/10 quicker than the F3 time. And that's just on the first lap attempt. We're a third of the way through qualifying. Rongson with a 1:16.9 and Kiziek, I think that's Piotr is his first name, has set a 1:16.5. Lucas Jaraja in the Alpine this season, I think in terms of Constructors' Championship, or cross-tier Constructors, should I say, because that's where it's all going to be really important this season. I think Alpine have a massive shout of doing some damage here. Then it's whoa! I literally did say, come and watch the stream because of Ivan going to be crashing. Ivan did not disappoint. He did not disappoint. Binning it on the exit of turn 4, I think it is. Good man, Ivan. We love you. No front wing for him. That's his lap ruined. James King, a dark horse to watch when he does race, when he is able to race. Christian Lubinov, I think, will be challenging for his first ever title in Ero this season as well. And obviously you've got the defending champion, Kamil Ronaldinho Pliszczyński. Ivan it was beautiful timing. Speaking of Ronaldinho, he goes second fastest, but a 1:16 flat. So Anila needing some competition here in these early stages of round 1. We're about just under halfway through qualifying. Yeah, I was working today, so I'm a bit tired. Where is Lex Hodd? I need him to be crashing into people. As Ivan is in to change his front wing. Maritabali serving a quali ban. Will not be doing anything this session. Christian Prams in the McLaren this evening. Andrei Feschenko in the V-Carb this season. The V-Carb is an interesting team. As in F3 you have Bastian and Remco. Bastian will score a lot of points. Remco will crash a lot. Maybe he'll score points too. I don't know actually. Let's look at the allocations for these teams. So in the Ferraris in F3, you got myself and you got João Santos, defending champion. The Red Bulls is Daniel Blackwolf and Jacob Duckworth. Then the Mercedes, that Chase Howard caused chaos last night, their safety car, overtaking about 12 people, and Joel Harris. The Astons, Dowd Steck and Ronan Clark returning from last season. And then it kind of gets a bit messy from there. It's just the RBs are Bastian and Remco. Alpine, I think, is going to be very, very dangerous in Zuchol and Charlie Roberts. The Haas have Edward Loffman and Isfad, who Edward had a great debut in Ero last night. But it won the race, I think, apart from penalties and safety cars and everything else happening in between. In F2, you've got the duo of Mark Anderson and David Ann in the McLarens. Then Rongson and Luis are in the Ferraris, hence Ferrari's chances of winning the cross-tier title this season are shot. But anyway, in the Red Bulls, Barry Kruger and Ricardo Chivrin. So maybe Red Bull this season would be a good shout as well. I think it's going to be between Red Bull and Alpine. Then the Mercedes, you've got Sparrow and John Ahern. In the Astons, you've got Aaron and Carl Whiteside. Alpine looks pretty strong with Yeast and Lewis Marion. Lewis had a very strong qualifying session, then due to a broken wheel or something, had a disastrous race. The Haas has got Rob Knable and Sam Kent. They'll be ones to watch out for. The Raging Bulls has Maritab Ali and Bjorn Rasmussen. Williams has Callum Clark and Ladian Dramoli. Finally, the Saubers are Jonathan Nathan and Zach. Moving on to F1. As nothing's really happening at the moment. James King, very close there with a 1:16.6. Challenging Anita. So in the McLarens, it's just Sparrow, and then in the Ferraris, it's just Ivan. And the Red Bulls, it's just Ronaldinho for now. The Mercedes has Maritab and Faizan. So Pakistan and India working together in F1 to tackle the evil Western powers. Aston Martin has Apo Said, who's racing this evening. Where is he? He's in P6 currently. The Alpine has Lucas Juraja and Thomas Rullik. So that will be interesting. So Alpine are probably a top 3 team here in F1. But in the other tiers are probably a top 2 team in each tier. So it does balance itself out a little bit here now. The Haas has Christian Lubinov. He'll pick up points for sure. The Raging Bulls has Andrei Feschenko and Regan McKinnon. Regan McKinnon, who never races in F1. Williams has Anila and Jack Cottrell, who's, I think, Big Bread. And finally, the Saubers has Esteban Ba and Mateusz Maciejewski. Spoiler alert, neither of those are racing tonight. Esteban Ba, if he races, he will smoke the field very, very quick. And 6 minutes to go in qualifying as the grid begins to close up here. As Ronaldinho setting a more competitive lap now against his Polish compatriot. Yeast, why is my dad an F1? Who's your dad? Yes, Orby, I agree. Let's hope for a cleaner race tonight. Ivan Tonsich, you're more than welcome to race here if you want to. Nobody is stopping you this evening. There is still space. There is still time. Unless you're already racing, right? I don't know. There's quite a few people. Quite a few new people in the Ero this season. As Ivan Belov just about getting to pit entry there. As we're going to ride on board with Robinson, he's already done his lap into the 1:16.9s. So 1:16.1, I think, was the time in F3. Let's have a look at that now next. So the pole time for F3 was a 1:16.5. Wow, that's only going to be good enough here for P11. The pole time in F2 was a 1:16.1, I beg your pardon. That would be touching on P6, P7. Interesting. So we're already 6/10 quicker than F2, and we're already over a second quicker than F3. As you see, Kristen Pram's here, one of 3 drivers already out on the track. Matthew's about to come into the pits. I'm not sure what Mr. Brett is doing. Ah, now I get why you're dad. Yes, 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 yes. I remember yeast, but the big bread is here. It's Christian Olsen to bits. And speaking of the big bread, is he on a lap? I don't think so. Unless he's burned all his battery on the front straight. Yeah, God, I'm tired. As we see the McLaren being towed in here by its pit crew. Australia was an interesting season opener this season with Piastri going off the track. Right where we are now. Will that come back to haunt him at season's end? That is the question. 3 minutes to go in qualifying. You're going to start to expect the track to get a little bit busy as Tomas is out, Andre is out, Peter is out, Ivan is out to crash again. And Daniel is on a lap as he's gone through turns 1 and 2 into 3 now. You have to be careful to avoid that red part of the curve. That is where all the damage will come from in loss of time. Not damage, so to speak, well, maybe in simulation. Now, tricky part here, would George Russell get a penalty? I think with Fernando Alonso, someone did in the past. Mario Tabali's retired as he does have a qualifying ban. Now, a long straight, well, third back straight here, DRS zone. DRS is very, very powerful here. Not so powerful in the next part. Going through, I think it's turn 13. Daniel electing to not use any curve there, whereas I think the meta is to use to take as much curve as possible without invalidating. Now it's sometimes seen as an overtaking zone at the end of Sector 2 into Sector 3. And you have to be careful not to use too much of that curve there. Doing so will lose the car. Daniel taking a nice amount of curve there though. That's probably the one curve you can ride in this track that is red. And what's it going to be for the Black Wolf? It's going to be a 118 flat. He stays P14. Yellow flag in Sector 3. That's just for somebody going slow into McLaren by the looks of it. Oh, someone's around. Pieter's around. Is that their qualifying session done? If they don't have any tyre, if they don't have a wing, it is definitely a qualifying session done. It looks like everything's intact though, so maybe they'll get to go around. Their teammate of Ronxon, Pomfrites, whatever their name is, God help him when we get to like the bloody American and the Arabian tracks. Anyway, Ivan just finished. He's gone P9. 45 seconds to go in qualifying. Anita has just started their next flying lap into turn 3. And just that's nice, just kissing the apex there. Again, the same thing there, a car completely under control. Just dropped one gear. Interesting, some people dropped a 5th there, but obviously 6 is the way to go. Qualifying is about to be done and dusted. The Haas will get to the line. Will anybody else though? Well, it doesn't matter for that. Ronaldinho's already on a lap, so that's it. It looks like the Alpine and Aposade will not get to the line in time. First across the line will be not James King, it's going to be Christian Prams, followed by, I think it's Lucas Giraja. No, it's not. It's going to be a Williams. Is it going to be Ananda? It is. James, where is he? No, it's not James. Sorry, Christian. He's finished there. And Anita goes even fastest into 1:15.3s. Wow. Next across the line is going to be an Alpine of Lucas. And he goes P9 with a 1:16.2. Now, Ronaldinho, what can you do? He's invalidated. That's his qualifying over. Oh, lordy. James King now challenging for pole. What's it going to be for him? It's in the 15s, the 15.4. It's just not quick enough. Unfortunately, Apo Said is finished. Louis Saligero goes P14. Peter Kissick goes on a banger of a lap here. Last but not least, Christian Lubinov has he's doing some burnouts for the crowd at Albert Park, or whatever this place is called. And that will be qualifying done and dusted. 16 drivers on the grid. We've seen a safety car in every single race so far this weekend. Right, looks pretty dry here. There was talk of rain. Right, F1 getting underway this season in the Ero. 5 red lights. Who's going to get the best start? Let's have a look here. It looks like that Alpine has got a decent start there, but it's hard to see. Anila gets away credit from the line. James King is not going to be challenging here, but Ronaldinho will be challenging for P2. Doesn't get the move done. James holds on to the position. Everyone else seems to be okay at the moment. Christian Lubinov and Apo Said fighting further down the field. 4P6, and here comes Christian Lubinov on the inside of turn 3. Everyone looking to be getting away quite safely there. No chaos just as of yet. As speaking of chaos, Christian almost losing the car. And Christian Prams behind him, having to react. Ivan Belov also almost crashing too. Matthew Wrightson dropping further down the field. Lucas Jaraja making a place as he's up to P10. Big Brad down to P13. Piotr Kislik, after a terrible qualifying, is up to P12. Rongson battling his teammate for tonight. Maritab Ali, after starting at the back of the grid, is up to P14. Daniel down to P15. Louis Saligero to P16. Interesting start there. Apo Said already with a 3-second time penalty. And let's see who's on what. Everyone electing for the mediums apart from Christian, Matthew, Bread and Shark. And Maritab, the biggest benefactor here, up 2 positions along with Ivan. Everybody else either holding position or just losing 1 or gaining 1. As we are 1 lap into this race. So entering into lap 2:29. James King here staying close to the back within DRS of Anila. as they are pushing on here in the Williams. Probably the quickest person in the tier. Lex, good evening, sir. Why are you not racing? Why are you not racing? We miss you. You would have made the 17 this evening if you raced. And James is going to have DRS here. You can see that rear wing wide open in the first of 2 consecutive zones. And you can see exactly what we're saying, as opposed to Daniel, who in qualifying didn't take much curb there. James is just taking as much curb as possible. You are not sorry, Lex. My controller is losing grip or something. I don't know, something's happening to it. And again, another helping of DRS here. Not very strong on this straight. If you're going to get a move done, it's not normally into turn 1. James does set the fastest lap of the race, though. How was my Saturday? It was good, Lex. I worked this week on Saturday. I had another big case, so I've been busy these last few weeks. This last week's been very, very busy. Loads of big cases. Shoulders all good, neck's all good, and chest has not been torn just yet. Meanwhile, up the front of the field, James has made a move for the lead. Successfully done. No safety cars as of yet here in F1. Charlie has to submit now for the moment. As they are charging up their battery to have an attack on the McLaren. Now down the main straight here. Is there enough track to make the move? I'm not even using any battery though. So at this point here, the top 2 will probably work together to pull away from the rest of the pack, as Ronaldinho is outside of DRS and he's going to be vulnerable. There's a yellow flag in sector 1. That's a Haas that's gone off. That's Christian Lubinov, and we have a safety car. No, the dentist is not open in the UK inside. Some dentists do, but I don't normally. I only open for like cases, like big cases that only require 1 appointment. Jeez, I wouldn't be opening general practice on a Saturday. It's a bad idea. You have everybody coming to you. Oh, God. As you can see, Christian there with... Oh! What happened there? What happened? That wasn't the smartest thing. Well... We've lost Christian Lubinov. He's our first DNFer. I don't know what happened, Christian. We're watching it there. We're gonna have to review that footage later on. It's a bit early to be pitting here now, unless you're going to be committing to the 2-stop. Now we've seen Edward Loughlin last night do this in F3, and it worked out for him. Does anybody elect to pit here? Ronaldinho is going to pit. Interesting, and Alpine and a Raging Bull will join him. Nobody gets a penalty in the pit lane as of yet. Christian Palms as well. Ivan stays out. Piotr Kizik does too. So does Mara Tabali and Daniel. So a large portion of the field pitting. And Luis Saligero will make up a rake of positions. Not quite, Lex. Every dentist in the UK is self-employed, so they work for corporates mostly, who basically kind of let you do what you want. But we're not. No, I don't have my own practice just yet. If I did, I wouldn't be running ERO, to be honest. I'd be too busy with that. But maybe one day in the future. Someone asked me before, they said, when would you ever step down from running ERO? And to be honest, I don't really know. It's not really on the cards just yet, but everything has its time. You had Cameron before me briefly, and then obviously Woj, who set the server up. Cameron's time was quite short. He had other priorities in life, which is understandable, especially when you're younger. And we'll see where the sim racing community is in a few years' time. Because at the moment, it's not looking great. Never step down. Well, listen, I need people to race, Lex. There's no point in me running this server if no one's racing. 64 signups this season. No, it's more than that. It was close to 70. Because I confirmed a few people. But we had 170 people last season. And we could barely manage 3 tiers because I don't know why. It's nothing to do with like the running of the server. It's just, I suppose, it's sim racing in general. People are tired of it. As Luis Saligero does come into the pits now, it's hard now running an F1 or sim racing community because these things. It's not COVID anymore. It's not 2021. Racing isn't as popular as it once was. Plus, people are getting bored of arcade racers and want to kind of go more to more sim racers such as ACC and even more realistic, which is iRacing. It's not that simple anymore. It's strange because we were more busy on F1 24 than we were on 25. Yes, the overtaking is really hard in this game. That's one aspect to it. The other aspect is that the dirty air is just ridiculous. So I think, as Ronaldinho said to me the other day, is that you're limited to your setups now. That you have to go really low downforce because that's the only time you can actually make a move is on the straights, and the only way you can do that is if you're more draggy or if you're faster. Sorry, less draggy. Safety car will be in this lap. I'll stop talking shite in a second. But we'll see what happens with the F1 games. I mean, this game is an improvement to F1 24, that's for certain. It's more enjoyable. They just need to tone the dirty air down a few points. If they toned it down by like 10%, it would be pretty good. But that's really my only massive complaint to it. As we see a bit of desync in the lobby, James King is going to get us on their way. Well, but this is the thing, is that you're forced to go low downforce, Lex. Because the game dictates you to have the overtaking opportunities when dirty air isn't an issue. You don't often see moves into the braking zone here all that much. James has gone well before the last corner. Has he caught Anila sleeping? Not really. I wouldn't say he wasn't sleeping. I wouldn't say he was awake. Aposade is in P3 with the 3-second penalty. Ivan Belov's up to P4. Any chaos happening at the back? As Lucas Jaraja had a moment there where he thought about it. And he's still thinking about it. And he's... Well... Nothing lost, nothing gained, but there was a lot of kissing there. Yeah, I mean, I understand. Like, I'm not sure what they're going to do next year, Lex, because... Obviously, it's going to be a new game as well, right? So, or new game, no shit, Sherlock. It's going to be a new engine cycle in F1 in real life, so it's going to be difficult for them to get that correct. And I think we'll just see. We'll just see. But you should be expecting probably a new game engine next year. Ronaldinho getting past Thomas Rullick, and Big Brett is dropping down. An incident there at the end of the DRS straight. He's down to the back of the grid, unfortunately for him. As Anila and James are very close to one another. Aposade just a wee bit away. And the rest of the grid is trailing along here. There's going to be a bit of a DRS train opening all the way from P4 down to P11 nearly. Potentially even P13. So the grid quite close to each other. But we're going to stick with these top two here as they are battling away in Sector 1. Through turns 5 and 6. Into 7 now, I think it is. And again, and this is what we're saying here. Yes, normally Saturday and Sunday are my free days next. But if it's a big case, I will work on a Saturday. So this is what we're saying here, is that the only chance you can have to really overtake is if your downforce is lower here, because you'll have the DRS. Otherwise, the move into the braking zone doesn't really stick it. Ivan Bella with a 3-second time penalty. It wasn't bad if you binned it in quali. What has he sent? And you're going to see Anil here with DRS. But I don't think they're near enough to make the move. I think if you're really up to the closest, up the back of somebody here, to get the move into turn one, it just doesn't normally happen. I mean, 24 was easier for overtaking, but it just felt like you're playing a mobile game or something. With the way the car would just flick, and the steering lock and everything else, and it wasn't a good game. It was more arcadey than this, I suppose. That's what it was. Aposade is closing in. He's got DRS again now. Christian Prams and Andrei Fashchenko battling away here. Oh! What happened there? That was interesting. There's a yellow flag because of that incident. As further in the field, Aposade has lost his front left end plate and half of his front wing. He's down to P12. Matthew Wrightson is up to P4, overtaking Lucas Juraja. And Lucas has got Ronaldinho for company here on the outside, and Ronaldinho is going to get that moved on. That was brave. Lucas Juraja is compromised by his teammate now, Thomas Rullick. The two Alpines almost coming together there with the Red Bull. Maritab Ali currently in P8. Who do I want to win the real F1 championship? I would like to see Piastri win it. I think it'd be nice. Then if Piastri was to not win, I would pick your boy Verstappen. I do not want Lando Norris to win. I am a Lando Norris hater. That is my official stance. Aposade into the pits. I think McLaren have really favoured Norris this year, no matter what they say. And there's just been too much crying on the radio. I know Piastri started doing a bit of it now, especially since Singapore, but it's just Norris, he's just too whiny for me. As we see Matthew here in a bit it's in the lobby, holding up the drivers behind him. He's acting as a bit of a buffer for Ronaldinho. And there's a lot of weaving here. And Matthew has to cede the position further down the field. Maritab also overtaking Lucas. Lovely angle here. As you see Matthew get a 3-second time penalty. And Lucas as well. Well, that was interesting. Again, a bit more desync here. And Lucas right behind. These four have been really close to each other. What a move there by Lucas Juraja, getting 2 places. Wow, wait, Matthew down to 8. Maritab up to 6. These up a few places as well. Thomas Rullick has managed to avoid all this chaos. And now Ronaldinho on the charge, overtaking Ivan Bella for P3. And you can just see the dirty air we're talking about. Thomas Rullick now also overtaking Ivan. No DRS is really hurting him here. I mean, the thing is as well is, and here comes Ivan Bella right back at Thomas. A bit of a bang there to get the move done, but wow, into turn 4. Max has the fastest car now, from what I can determine. Because I went to Monza and that thing was a lightning bolt. No, there's Andrei Fashchenko with a 3-second time penalty, and there's a bit more banging between these two. Thomas and I, no one giving it up just yet. I'm getting flashbacks to last night. It's happened about 4 times last night. Commercial break. We will be back momentarily after a word from our sponsors. Oh wait, I'll just keep talking. Yes, Carl, this happened a few times last night, unfortunately, in the F2 race, but it builds suspense, it builds hype, it builds mystery. Thank you, Camel, for your comment there. That was very nice of you. And we are back away, and James King is still leading the way, and Ronaldinho is still in P3, but he's closed the gap considerably. Thomas Rullick in P4, Maritab Ali has gone to P5, that's some recovery. Ivan's dropped in a few positions, he was in P3 last time we saw, now he's back to P6. Lucas, Matthew, Christian, Peter, Andre, Daniel, Luis, Big Bread, and Apo saying, take care, legs. Have a nice weekend. As we see the two Saubers fighting, and Rungston's gone! Rungston has departed, and we're going to hear all about this, I'm sure. And that brings out another safety car. Now, who pits? James King has managed to sneak in, and this is lap 12. This is the pit window for the medium runners. Oh, he's really complaining here in capital letters and everything in the chat. So Maritab, Ivan, Lucas, Daniel, and I think maybe Apple. Everyone's happy to see Rungston do it. As Big Bread gets a 3-second time penalty. Carl, he's already started mouthing off in Polish. So you would expect now Charlie to pit. Does Ronaldinho pit? It's not really in the right time. It's not the right time for the hards to pit, unfortunately. So for those that had pitted earlier, this isn't ideal, but yes, there was a lot of crying last night. As we're already back away under racing, so that wasn't a safety car, that was only a VSC. James has taken the opportunity to avail of a quick pit stop. And that's going to really help him in his battle against Charlie. And Charlie has to pit now. And Neil is really going to be hampered by that. That's unfortunate for them. Ronaldinho takes the lead of this race. Matthew has already started DMing me. You know, people pay for my time, Matthew, in real life. As Andrei Feschenko getting frisky here into turn 3. Everyone keeping it very clean. There's another yellow flag in sector 1. Trying the switch back here. Gets a good exit, but not enough juice. Or is there a bit of contact there, Peter? Christian Prams has managed to get away. The top two in a world of their own at the moment, as Tomas Rullick is hunting down Ronaldinho. Yes, Matthew, people deleted the game because of dirty air. We know. Okay, thank you. That's Tomas almost getting a track time, but what in there? Christian Prams and Andre still fighting. And here comes Andrei Feschenko, getting that move easily done. Cool as you want. So the top 5 are all drivers who pitted earlier in this race and are going to have to wonder now, when do they come in to change on to the next set of medium tyres? That is the interesting question here. James King's already up to P6 and he's got DRS on the back of this cohort. So he's not too far away from the leaders. And James already up to P5 now. He's only 8 seconds away from Ronaldinho. Charlie has lost 6 seconds to James because of not pitting at the right time. Matthew, you messaged me and now you're messaging everybody else. Just increase your brake bias or something. Shoot. James King though hunting down Andrei Feschenko, and Andrei is hunting down Piotr Kisiak. This is another yellow flag in sector 1 that looks to be an Alpine. I think it's Lucas Jaraja who's had a moment in the sand. James King now to P4. He's on a tear at the moment. Ivan Belov and Luis Saligiero fighting with the aid of DRS. Ivan though up to P9. He's got a penalty though. And here we see Maritab Ali, who was running in P6 at one point, now currently in P8. Maritab, who had that epic battle with Yeast last season in F3. James and Pieter now. James now up to P3. He's set the fastest lap of the race and he's made about 3 positions in 2 laps. But here comes Anila with a 1:18.5. That's half a second quicker. Oh, wait. So these two putting on a show here. They're really going to be pushing on to make up some lost time. Let's look at their interval away from the leader. As Andre and Christian making up as Kizik has a bad moment. Lucas Girage is retired in the pits, unfortunately for them. That was their evening done and dusted. So, the Alpine Cross-Tier Championship will not be too happy with that result. One of their drivers retiring. Haas is already out of this race. And one of the 2 Saubers. Ronaldinho into the pits now for the second time here. Interesting timing. James King is going to pass him by. Ronaldinho going on to a new set of hards. Now, mediums could have gone to the end here. Interesting call, as Charlie going even faster now. But we are on a crash course here, as Charlie is gaining rapidly and James King is also on the hunt. Thomas Rullick has a 4.5 second lead. Andrei Feschenko and Christian Prams are going to be lambs to the slaughter to Anila in behind. As we are in almost finished lap 17 of 29. Over half race distance completed at this point. Still 13 drivers remaining. And speaking of Charlie, they got past Christian Prams, dispatched. Up next is Andrei Feschenko. And Andrei's not going to be able to challenge that much with these old tyres. And Charlie has a bit of a wobble there. Andrei into the pits. Here we go. These two hunting down Thomas, who's already had a second of his lead taken away from him. Andre down to P9 there. Ronaldinho, another one interesting person to watch here, as he's going to be on the charge, hoping to get back a few positions. First up on his radar is Ivan Belov. He dispatches him. Next is going to be Maritab Ali in the Mercedes. Nice little overtake there, done with the assist of DRS. Maritab on the mediums. So they've got a bit of a long stint here. Big Bread is gone. The Big Bread is indeed gone. And Maritab holding off Ronaldinho for now, but Camille gets an amazing exit there out of 13. Thinking about a move for a second. Maybe just wants to cool the tyres down a little bit as well. And the engine. Able to brake just that much later. Going around the final corners here. Traction going to be a bit of an issue. Matthew has now messaged in another chat about the same thing about his brakes. Ronaldinho now closing in. Is he going to be close enough to make the move here? He is indeed. Dispatching Maritab. Again an overtake between turn 2 and 3 on that straight with the assist of DRS. Further down the field, We do see Daniel and Apo Sade getting very, very close. Andrei Feschenko is just a way bit up the field. James King is closing down on Thomas Rulik as Piotr Kizik gets a 3-second time penalty for track limits. Hello, commentator. Don't sleep. Thank you, Zuzana. No doubt Tomas Rulik is a fighter. Unfortunately for Thomas, though, or Tomas, his tires are quite old. But let's see what happens indeed. We will not sleep. But James King is within DRS now. And Tomas does go into the pits. Drops him down to P5. Ronaldinho back up to P4. That's a good recovery from them. They'll be hunting for a podium position. Maritab Ali with a 3-second time penalty, our latest driver. So Ivan Belov here, hoping that Maritab's mediums start to die off and he can pick up the position here and get P6 at least. And then think about Piotr further up the road. Ronaldinho closing in on Mr. Prams. With the assist of DRS. And that move is very easy as you like. Now, the interesting thing here is, can Anila catch up to James? They certainly are by the looks of the timing screen, but little by little, entering into lap 21 of 29. And there's about 5 seconds separating them, so just under a second a lap is what's needed here. At the moment, it's James King's race to lose. Ronaldinho has a bit of work to do. He's up to P3. If he wants to catch the leaders. Now we see a bit of action here further down the field as Kiziak goes wide off the track there, and that opens the door for Maritab Ali to start attacking. Ivan is also now arriving on the scene. Greetings to you from Ireland and the UK, Susanna. We're a tight little community in Ero, and hopefully yourself and Tomas can be a part of it for a long time. Meanwhile, back on the track, Charlie gaining about 4/10 that last lap. But isn't really pushing on. Christian Prams into the pits for the last time today to get rid of his hard tires. Maritab up to P4 on the track. Let's see where everybody ends up with the penalties afterwards. Thomas Rulik, though, doesn't have a penalty, and as it stands, he would be P4 if the race were to end at this moment and time. Anila not really catching James King, and Ronaldinho is not really catching Anila. So the top three looks set in stone as of now, barring any shocks, any spins, any, I don't know, madness to do with blue flags or something. There's not really ever, that's not really ever an issue though. And Kizik getting past Maritab Ali here, as Maritab's medium tires are beginning to struggle, I'd say. And further down the field, Tomas thinking about making a move here, almost makes contact with the back of the Ferrari. That is safe though. Christian Prams and Daniel Skiziak are fighting. So you've got four cars here very close to the back of one another. And an incoming Andrei Feshchenko arriving to the party. Come on, Andrei, hurry up. Get your dancing boots on. Are we going to see him move into turn 1 by anybody? No, we're not. This is going to be great to watch over the next 3 laps. As the drivers... Oh, Ivan's been killed! Tomas has killed Ivan! Into the wall he went. No safety car though at the moment. No safety car at the moment. Right, so there was 4 drivers very close to one another. I think that might be a penalty for Mr. Rullick. But we will see what will happen with stewards after the race. Goes a bit wide there as well. Andrei now Feshchenko thinking about a move on Maritab Ali. A bit of banging and barging. Everyone gets them through safely though at the moment. Right, so what's going to happen here in the fight for P4? Andrei again. Oh, there's a bit of contact there in the last corner as well. Right, so it's all heating up here. I'm just... Andrei really pushing to get past Maritab here. He's got the pace to do so. He's got the tyres as well. It's just DRS is actually hindering him here. Maritab has it too. And he's got nowhere to go. He's about to be boxed in here. Contact with Maritab's rear left tyre. And that's all she wrote here at the moment. As Kiziak is actually holding up the drivers behind. Further up the field, Charlie not gaining at all on James. Needs to evenly matched. I'd like to see them go at it for a whole season. Ronaldinho just a little bit away. A day late and a dollar short, as Martin Brundle would say. Luis Saligiero getting past. Ivan Belov is on the soft tyres. He'll go for the fastest lap of the race at some point or another in the next 5 or so laps. And it is becoming a bit overcast here in Melbourne. Maritab getting past Kiziak though. These 4 yet again at it. As Andrei now getting right into this here. Keep the space, guys. Oh, it's almost a bit of a push to pass. There's Kiziak kind of cedes the position almost to Andrei. Loses 2 positions as a result of that. And Tomas is up to P6. Which is really a net P4. But he may have a penalty coming his way after the race. Now Charlie beginning to gain a little bit of time here as James had a bit of a wobble that last lap. He's lost about a second to Anila. Ronaldinho still around the 7-second mark. Now Maritab Ali on those really old medium tyres. They're going to be screaming here. And Ivan gets past Luis. And here we see Andrei Feshchenko getting the move done for P4 with the aid of DRS. And is Maritab going to lose to the drivers behind now? I don't think so. As Kiziak gets another 3-second time penalty, it's a disaster for them. They're also on 20 lap old hards, so their tyres are going to be screaming. Interestingly enough, so we've got a pack here of about 4 drivers, all vying for the one thing, which is P4. As Kiziak makes contact with the wall there. As Christian Prams gets a 3-second time penalty, as Ronaldinho is still around the 7-second mark. Charlie not really gaining all that much, so they're matching each other's lap times. And I think they've just kind of settled into the fact that P2 is where they will be at the end of this race. The same with Camel. Ivan Belov does indeed set the fastest lap of the race. And Maritab using everything. But Andre has just pulled away. And as a result of that, Andre is going to use Maritab as a blocker here, or a buffer. Just 3 laps to go here. And here comes Tomas on Maritab. Doesn't make the move into turn 3. Thinks about it for a second. Oh, as Maritab has a big wobble there. And through goes the Alpine. Up to P5, just like that. But the damage has been done. Andrei Feschenko, 4-second gap. Can cruise to P4 here. That's going to be a good result for them, for the Ukrainian. Kamil now nearly 8 seconds away, and Charlie is just settled in, as we said before. But it's this man at the front leading away. Leading away. Mr. James King, the Britishman. The Englishman, should I say. Just has to do nothing stupid at this point, and he will have raced once in season 17. He will have won once in season 17. Actually, for 17 seasons. I joined Ero at the end of season 8 or 9. The start of 9, I think it was. But I won my first title in season 10. What a time. I never won an F1 24. As Apo Sade with another 3 seconds. So Ronaldinho beginning to gain here on Anila, as it looks like they've just dropped off. They must have had a wobble there. And now Andre 6 seconds clear. So this will be the final positions. Let's have a little look at the penalties. Kiziak will drop down to Christian Prams, but only 1 position by the looks of it. So as we enter into the last lap of this race, and Kiziak gets another 3 seconds, unfortunately for them. So it'll be close between Kiziak and Apo Sade for P8. And we see here, going through sector 1 for the last time is Mr. James King. It's quite overcast now in Melbourne. The clouds are out in full force, as Christian has gotten past Pieter. Consequently, really, Ronaldinho has had a solid enough race here with his 2-stop strategy. Hasn't really set a foot out of line. Anila was a bit unlucky, it must be said, and it was the deciding factor between these two about the pitting times. So James making use of a cheap pit stop under the VSC, and that will be the deciding factor between these two. There wasn't a lot to separate them in the race, but round 1 goes to James King. He wins in Melbourne in F1 with a celebratory bang on the wall. Charlie Anila will come in P2. Ronaldinho in P3. That rounds out your podium. Next across the line, one of the goats in the Ero, Andrei Feschenko. And on your debut, Mr. Thomas Rillick will finish in. Oh, there's an extra big shot in the back there. Around the final corner, Thomas will finish P5. Maritab will finish P6. Piotr will finish P8. Apo Sade will get P7 in the end. And Christian Prams. What happened there? Daniel will finish P4. 11 by the looks of it, because Ivan Belov will cross the line in P10. No! And all that is left is Mr. Luis Salguero, and that is round 1 in F1 done and dusted. Interesting race. A lot of strategy involved there, a lot of thinking and moves and counter moves. It wasn't the worst race you've ever seen. And we will just get the race directed for you. Next weekend we are in Spa for what promises to be another crazy weekend in F3. As you can see there, the cleanest driver was Daniel. Well done to you. Ivan with the fastest lap. James obviously with the win. And we will just get the race directed for anyone that needs it. That will do us. And here are your standings. Wish you all a good weekend. If you would like to race an Ero, if you're already not doing so, please do sign up. We do have a few full-time spots available in F1. Take care, everybody. Enjoy real-life qualifying, which starts in 20 minutes, I think, or an hour, 1 to 2. And good night.